How powerful do you think is the media?
I think for me that media for nowadays has a very huge influence. Especially about the youngest, because normally nowadays youngest are very close enough with the media, especially we can see social media. Every day I can see they are looking at social media. So I think I can see most of their thinking every day is based on social media, I think.
Maisaan, would you like to add?
Yeah, I would say very impactful because social media or news, they eventually it's the main focus now. Everything.
I think it depends because like you learn in like media class about the framing and all those things. So it depends on what side of the internet you're on. So like it's not powerful if you don't if you take it with like, how do I say this?
Pinch
Like
of
grain of
salt.
Yeah,
salt?
take it with a
Pinch
grain of
of
salt.
salt.
Yeah.
Okay. But it basically, like, you do end up at the side of social media
That consume,
that,
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that is like aligned to what you believe,
Mhm.
right? So everyone has like different social media, like for you pages, for example, on TikTok,
Yeah.
which means that there are people who are receiving like different content from what you are receiving. So then that means that people can get information that might be misleading,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or in fact, we might be able to get information that is misleading.
Like I always have this. I guess it's unrelated, but
Mm.
you have a power in what you choose to like and like your what's it called it, like what you see and stuff. You have power over it. But what comes after that, you're just consuming what they line up for you.
Let's all contemplate this one surah, Surah Al-Muddathir. And there's a very interesting story that is told. It's about Walid bin Mughirah. So do you guys know who he is?
Yes.
Heard of it.
Don't know.
He's actually he's actually the father of Khalid bin Al-Walid.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
and he
soldier one.
Yeah, the
Ah.
soldier. But he didn't start off as a Muslim. He was actually one of the main villains in the Quran. So he was a famous and respected poet, but he was basically like a hater of Islam, and all the time he would accuse Prophet Muhammad that he was a sorcerer, that he was lying all the time.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those.
One of those.
And
Oh,
he
it-
was basically spreading propaganda.
Is it related to the one of the verses? فَقَالَ إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا سِحْرٌ يُؤْثَرُ?
Yeah.
Translate.
Exactly. Can you translate that for us?
The meaning that he said that this is not nothing except the magic which is influence others.
Yes.
Which is a magician.
Exactly. So do we all know? Do we think it's true?
What, that Prophet Muhammad's a
A
magician?
magician, is it?
No, of course
Yeah,
not.
but at the time when we say, imagine that we don't know anything, it is a possibility that people are influenced, right, by that wording. Yeah, but basically this surah, what's really important is the ayat 19. Do you know it?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you recite it?
إنه فكر وقدر ثم قتل كيف قدر.
He is ruined for what he plotted. That's basically the meaning. So, Maisa, why don't you give your 2 cents about what you think this means?
We can say a lot of news that we are hearing is half the truth that we from the main truth. So, for example, when we are looking into the Palestine crisis, we don't know what is really happening, but being exposed to the social media, being the insight from them, we can get the real impact, and when people are already changing the perspective of Islam, and from Islamophobia to the more fresh look into this. Yeah.
So basically, you're saying that before these people were more Islamophobic, and
Yeah.
now like the truth is prevailing.
Yeah, truth is good.
That's an interesting point about the pipeline of Islamophobia to now like a lot of people are supporting Palestine, and these are like people who maybe they're from like countries that are more Islamophobic. Some people from the United States, some people from France. They are starting to see these things. Like, why do you think this happens?
Like you said, because media does have power. But I think the power in media comes from power in numbers. So the more people are seeing the truth, more people are spreading the truth, more people are like looking in what's this actually about. So rather than rather than, how do I say this? It's like people trying to see it because what you see all the time takes a toll on you, right? If you see happy people all the time, you're like, why aren't I like that? If everyone's life is perfect, right? That's what you see on social media as well, because people only post the good stuff, right? So like if at one point Palestine was like all the time on people's social media, they're like, oh, what is making these Palestinians so strong in their belief? So even though they didn't believe in it at first, they're curious, how come so many people are supporting this cause and believing in Islam so strongly?
Yeah, true. So about the Palestinian issue, we can see that like Allah's support will always prevail. And no matter how much, like we can see right now, Israel is really trying to frame Palestine as being, wrong. And you can see that they keep on saying like, oh, we're attacking Palestine because of Hamas, for example, right? But obviously, like, you are still killing children. You are still bombing hospitals. And at first, maybe we could see that part of the world was believing that, oh, Hamas is a terrorist organization, that they have to, that it makes sense for Israel to defend itself. But over time, when the numbers that are coming out don't lie, there's evidence, actual video footage of people who are suffering, being bombed in Palestine, then you can see that even though Israel tries to use media to change the narrative or change the story, the truth will remain that, and it will prevail, right?
Yeah.
So no matter how much they try to hide it, then eventually we believe that Allah will make sure that the truth comes out.
Can I add some?
Yes.
Because this is related to one verse from Surah Al-Saf. They want to extinguish, or they want to curse, or they want to manipulate the light of Allah, meaning that the religion of Allah. But Allah will save His light, which is the religion, even though that disbelievers dislike it. Same that even the religion and also the people who believe in religion, which is Palestinian. So it proves that Allah will save them in His way. In His way, Allah will save the Palestinian, His religion, and Allah promised that the disbeliever will be lost at the end.
So how do you think that the news affects people?
A lot of people are converting, so that is a good positive change that happening, because is the propaganda we have seen over 70 years has been in Palestine crisis, but now the media has played a big part on the narrative, and that has impacted a lot of people.
Now that we live in a world where media is very powerful, like what are we supposed to do to make sure that we always stay on the right side?
First thing first, do not believe in all news, especially in media reports, like social media and mass media, so on. Second thing, I think maybe we can we can spread the right things. We know the right things, and we know that media can manipulate these things. So I think from us, the effort from us, we can spread the right things, especially about the current issue about the Palestinian, Israel, Hamas, and so on. So yeah, that's from effort from us. And I think we can just we can start from ourselves. Even though that it's a small effort, but it can be wider, insyaAllah.
Yeah, you want to add?
No idea. You?
I think what's most important is that we have to increase our own knowledge first.
Yeah.
And from there, we'll be able to dissect which media is correct and which is not. And as always, like, insyaAllah, when we go down the right path of knowledge, then yeah, the truth will always prevail. Do you guys want to add anything else?
Yes. Can you switch on the juice light?
Oh.
Oh.
I want to do it. I can do it. Is that good enough?
Is that your action?
Yeah, no, it's too.
I can edit. Whatever happens, if it's
okay,
awkward,
okay,
We just do
salah,
this.
we
Everybody say hi.
Hi.
Assalamualaikum lah.
Wait,
Oh jangan, aku nervous dah pula.
I think it's all good already.
Okay.
Okay. You guys want to say
question.
anything? Last words?
Oh,
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine!